In terms of the money that's handed to the companies, going back to money here, and startups are a lot of it is all about money here. The grants and the investments that come into the company, there can be such a thing as too much, right? And there can be such a thing as not enough, right? There is some sweet spot across across grants and investments on having enough money at the right time. The right time for entrepreneurs is now. By the time the entrepreneur is asking you for money, they already need the money. Unfortunately, I'm not going to talk about the woes of raising money, but it takes a while to raise money. Entrepreneurs need the money now. They need the money, they need it now, and they need it with no strings attached, which is kind of the opposite of grants, right? Almost every grant comes with at least a report at the end, but usually a whole lot more strings than that. A lot of investments come with a bunch of strings attached. All of that just annoys the entrepreneurs because they're just trying to build a business. They're trying to deliver to customers, and they just need the money now to go do that. And so I relate to this. I'm a serial entrepreneur turned investor. And so every time I act with my investor hat on, I do everything I can to get them the money quickly. What they also need, which they don't know, but what the startups really need is just as much as they need money, they need guidance. So almost every entrepreneur that's out there of those millions of companies I talked about are first-time entrepreneurs. So they don't actually know how to build a company to profitability because they've never done it before. So they need help in doing that. They need training. So they need education and training. They need advice as in advisors. They need mentorship as in mentors or advisors. There are common mistakes that are made over and over again every single day. And between training and advice and mentorship, we can get rid of those mistakes if only we could get in front of every one of these startups. In order to do that, this is why accelerators exist. So when we do Fledge, we give them that training. That's part of what an accelerator is. And we do that through the same class that I used to teach in the MBAs. It's called the Next Step is the series of books. We have them fill out one of these skills maps that tells them what they're weak at and what they're strong at. And we tell them to work on what they're weak at. We also flood them with mentors. So we have a huge network from around the world of over 600 volunteers, all professionals. And they come in and they chat with these companies and help them through whatever issues they're dealing with now. And we bring back the mentors whenever needed for issues they're dealing with later. What this looks like when we do this in practice is that people apply from all over the place. I talked about millions of entrepreneurs. We just ran this process earlier this year. January 31st, we had 842 startups from 85 countries apply to be part of the program. And you can't interview 842. That takes too long. We narrowed that list down to 39 from 13 countries, and we did 39 interviews. And then normally we just pick 7. We increased that to 9 because we're doing it online. But trying to get from 842 down to 7, right? If you've run RFP processes and grant proposals, you've done similar things to this. One thing that's different here is that we didn't ask for anything specific from these companies. We asked, if you're mission driven and for profit, apply and tell us what you're doing. And then we just picked the ones that we thought were the most promising and the most impactful to the world without any other thesis attached. The only thesis of change we have is that if we can help the for-profit companies that are mission driven, then the missions will happen and they'll be able to grow those missions without having to go back and ask for money every single year. So again, this is run by Fledge. This is what the network looks like. We do this all over the world. We repeat this process. We were going to do this 5 or 6 times this year. We'll do it 2 or 3 times. Next year, we'll do it 5 or 6 times. We do this because there's entrepreneurs everywhere. They're all seeking not just money, but advice. And so we're putting that together. We do put that together into programs that help as many entrepreneurs as we can afford to help, which is hundreds. Then to wrap it up, we're running the Foundation Accelerator, which is training and doing in a cohort for 10 weeks with the shared goal of making investments at the end. The timeline, again, we've done 2 free workshops already. Now we've done 3. The last one's next Thursday. After that, we'll ask if you want to commit and join the program. It runs for 10 weeks between April 23rd and June 25th. It's a $55,000 recoverable grant to be part of the program. The grants go through our nonprofit partner, run by Fledge, which I've talked about enough this time. And really the pitch here is what else are you going to do? So you can't go on field visits. You're not probably going to make new grants to new organizations you haven't met yet. Hopefully you're supporting the organizations you're already granting to. And so as long as you're working at home, this is the moment in time when you have 10 weeks to learn this skill so that when the world turns on again, you can start adding investments to your grants. If you want any more information on this, if you want to find the recordings of the previous sessions and all those slides, you can find that on foundations.fledge.co. And you're welcome to send me email. I'm at looney@fledge.co. And thank you for joining.